The Mojang team has done something very interesting. Over the time, they have added community things to the original game, such as Technoblade on the launcher's home screen or also as a splash text, a pretty nice gesture by the development team. But they have also added many other things, such as the Kitten Jerry, which is a kitten from a YouTuber who won the votes of a community cat contest, which by the way reminds me a lot of my kitten Luquitas. And not only kittens, but there is also a special rabbit, the rabbit Toes, who is in memory of a rabbit that was lost from a girl in the community, as well as a super cool video in the special of the Zillion Views of Minecraft, where they show a huge amount of English YouTubers. However, I've had a question for a long time. Why has Mojang never tried to add one of the most iconic things from the old game? The greatest Herobrine. Herobrine was a community creation and it was definitely an important part of the growth of the game. In fact, in my Herobrine documentary, we dedicated an entire event to commemorate all those good times that Herobrine gave us on YouTube. Doesn't Mojang want to add Herobrine? Could it be that the game would have more sales? Well, we are going to answer that question and many more in a universe where Herobrine was added by Mojang. For this, we will go to our interdimensional time machine. Nice, we have reached a universe where Herobrine actually exists in Minecraft, and the first thing that would happen is that the Mojang team would in no way add Herobrine as a part of a major update. For example, there couldn't be a Herobrine update. Nor would they in any way say so on their website, much less as a part of their advertising. Let's remember that Herobrine has always been characterized by being a mysterious figure. Most of his appearances have always been blurred, as if you could hardly see him. This essence is important to maintain, so if Mojang ever adds Herobrine, they won't tell anyone. This means that the Minecraft community would have to find Herobrine in order to find out that he was added. Obviously, all social networks will be full of posts about it. The entire internet would be full of videos of how they supposedly found Herobrine within their worlds. At first, no one would believe it, but slowly the Minecraft YouTubers would start uploading a lot of videos talking about how Herobrine has finally been added to the game. But perhaps it is possible that no one will find out before they know they already added. Well, on several occasions, Mojang information has been leaked ahead of time, such as what happened with Minecraft Legends, the future Minecraft game, because I literally explained everything about this game to you 2 days before Mojang announced it. If it were leaked that Herobrine is inside the world before people start seeing the apparitions in his world, then it wouldn't be a surprise. Ideally, this news started to spread slowly over the time, exactly the same as the beginnings of Herobrine. Years ago, no one knew about Herobrine, but when the first publications began, everything started to explode. Well, to avoid all kinds of leaks, they would have to encrypt the Herobrine code, and more importantly, they shouldn't make a texture called Herobrine. It would be too obvious. To do it correctly and that nobody finds out, they would have to make the texture of the game code just 2 dots that cannot be seen and obviously change the name, for example to Cloud Particle. Nobody will suspect this, because with command blocks we can generate particles wide, which are called clouds. Players will hardly think that it would be Herobrine. It would only be enough for the Mojang team with the code to combine these 2 white dots with Steve's textures. Following these security steps, the surprise that we would get when we find Herobrine in the world will be very real. Once we know that the Mojang team would have to keep the secret and the mystery, a very important question arises. How and where could Herobrine appear in our world? You are probably thinking that it could be summoned with a totem. You know, those classic totems that we can find in the most famous Herobrine modes. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that this couldn't be done. It would be completely unbalanced that with only blocks of gold, a little netherrack and some torches, you can generate an evil and dark entity. You can imagine how disastrous the nether would be. Just think about the enormous amount of gold blocks that we can find. It would be totally absurd. Any ordinary player starts to mine an enormous amount of gold blocks in these structures and then starts making a bunch of Herobrine totems, and either the server would start to crash, or the totems would be able to spawn a bunch of Herobrines. That is very unbalanced and something Mojang wouldn't do. And although Minecraft will limit it that only one Herobrine could appear, but these totems are still very cheap anyway. Something as terrifying and monstrous as the Warden is not capable of being generated on the surface. You have to find an ancient city and you can only use the shriekers found inside these ancient cities. Not for a reason. When you get these shriekers and put them back, they are no longer activated. Mojang doesn't like that you can spawn such powerful creatures on the surface in large numbers. But then, we come back to the question, where and how could it spawn? Well, to answer the question, now we have to remember one of the most common creepypastas of Herobrine. According to one of the most popular legends, Herobrine was the soul of a lost miner, a lost soul of a person who had horrible things happen to him inside a mine. This legend would be perfect for the Minecraft game, as one of the most important essences is mining. Knowing this, we could think about the mineshaft. Sadly, this structure is practically useless. Well, at least some chests that can contain important minerals. Don't you think that the mineshaft would be the perfect place to find Herobrine in our world? It would make a lot of sense that a story about Herobrine being a soul trap in a miner. It would be very well justified. And from this moment, many players would start a search to find all the mineshafts. Its enormous utility would be that in only this place we would have small chances of finding a Herobrine hiding in the shadows, as if he were watching you. I even imagine that when we approach Herobrine, he could disappear. Maybe if you are fast enough, you could maybe kill him. It would be pretty cool if he give us some soul item, because it is a soul in a pain, like the ones we can find in Minecraft dungeons. But now, I think that Herobrine couldn't only spawn in a mineshaft. Imagine that when you spend many days without sleeping, you can activate the probability of appearances of Herobrine, something very similar to the Phantom, that appear when the player begins to hallucinate for not sleep. It would make a lot of sense that at this stage of the player having problems sleeping, you can notice how the doors open and close on their own. Or also that Herobrine can appear in the darkest areas of your house, as if they were some hallucinations. Also, very surely, those leaves of trees that were near of your house could slowly disappear as in the original legend. Obviously, the player would really be forced to sleep, or Herobrine would be able to destroy each of the leaves in his natural sun. Even the less you sleep, Herobrine could do worse things, such as small tunnels with torches redstone. The game would have to detect natural areas where you haven't built before. So far, it would be very annoying, but nothing from the other world. Adding the small tunnels, the mechanics of not sleeping, and making the abandoned mines the true origin of Herobrine, Minecraft wouldn't change much. There are things that we could see in any update if Mojang dared to creating a super terrifying creature with horrible sounds could perfectly raise Herobrine. It would even be less scary. But the most amazing thing that would happen is something that you may not have thought about. And it is that we remember that Minecraft is full of technical players. That means that somehow they would find a way to create Herobrine tech farms. The day we have Herobrine's tech farms will be the most historic moment in Minecraft. All this time with a legend and see how this is farmed. We will have seen the best of this whole game. I honestly think it will be very difficult for Herobrine to be added, but it would be a perfect justification if at some point Mojang has great difficulty reviving the game in a few years. Adding Herobrine will be the biggest news in video games, because our childhoods will have been real. Click on the left to see more episodes of What If. There will be more than 50 episodes. And on the right you have a video suggested by the YouTube algorithm.